So now I have my rabbit all cleaned up. I've got it just in some water, and it seems like rabbits are called hare because you never get rid of the hair. They are, I'll wash that. They are covered in hair after death. They are always covered in hair. So while that sits, I'm going to cut up some onion. I've just got some chicken bouillon. I've got some wild game season and a little pepper, a little bit of salt. I'm just going to let this sit in this salt water for probably 10 minutes. I'm going to pull off a little bit more hair. You just kind of have to clean it to the point where you realize that this is wild game and you're not going to get it perfect. You're going to get it good enough. There's hair everywhere. We're just going to cook this down in a cast iron skillet for probably 3 or 4 hours. While this is sitting in the salt water, I figured I would point out Farm Show magazine got a hold of me, and they did another article on the snowmobile tractor. So that's kind of cool. Feel free to check out the Farm Show in print and also at farmshow.com. All right, now I have rinsed this. I have pulled more hair off again and again. All right, I am going to do a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper, coarsely ground. And throw some on the tenderloins as well. And some of this historic Lynchburg Tennessee whiskey, venison, and wild game rub. I've already got my onions in the pan with some Tuscan herb infused olive oil. I'm going to light that up. I'm going to throw my rabbit right in there. And I'm just going to cook all of this for a few moments before I throw the bouillon in and before I add any water. This has been cooking in the skillet for about 10 minutes now. And what I'm going to do is throw the heavy meat down in the pan. Like so. And I changed my mind on the water. I've been waiting for something to do with this organic coconut water for a while now. So I'm just gonna wing it. I'm gonna throw this in place of water. I'm going to get that as full as I can. Look at that. That's about perfect. Now I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of this Herbes de Provence. It says it's from Provence, but it also says San Francisco. So I don't know where Provence is. I don't know what herbs they use. But they make rabbit taste pretty good. Finally, we're gonna do 2 packets of sodium-free chicken bouillon. I'm doing 2 because it's salt-free. I already did my salt, and I'm planning on having to add more water, so I figured I might as well just start with more flavor. I'm gonna just agitate that a little bit, stir some of that up, and I'm just gonna heat this up until it starts to simmer. I don't really want to boil this over. I just want to cook it for a few hours. Like I said, I'm going to end up adding more fluid because the goal is to pretty much steam all of this out. Just let it cook, tenderize that meat, and get all kinds of happy from my belly. So we have our fire down low now, and it's just got a little bit of a rolling boil, a little simmer. And I'm just gonna move this around and agitate it every 20, 30, 40 minutes or so. Maybe even give this a little flip here and there for the next few hours. You can see in about 30 minutes that it's dropped about a ½ inch. Now I want to cook and tenderize all the meat, so I'm just going to continue to keep the water level up. I've got just a little over 2 cups of tap water here. And it took it all. I just flip this over. It's starting to pull right apart, which is a great sign. Might have me a snack while this is finishing up. Cheers. The taste is there, definitely. It's hearty. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it. It doesn't have much spice, but it's got good flavor. There's some herbs from Provence / San Francisco. It's still a little bit chewy. Totally plateable right now, but I'm gonna let that simmer for probably another 45 minutes. Try it again. I have added a total of 3 cups of water. That entire container of the coconut water. And it has boiled that consistency down quite a bit. I received some parts that I've been waiting on to go do some work on a vehicle as a mobile repair, and I need to really get on the road. I'm going to let this cook down probably 15 more minutes, and we'll do some checking on tearing some of that meat apart. Time to pull some meat off the bone. This has pretty much reduced to nothing. Look at that. Basically just caramelized onions and a little sauce. So we're gonna shut the burner down, let that cool. Now most likely, I will not eat this all at one sitting, so I'm just going to pull the meat and try to separate anything from the bones as I go right into a to-go dish, because that way when I want some, I can just pull it all out, mix it up, have a bite. Makes me happy when it just falls off the bone like this. No real work. Kind of tells you it's done without having to try it. You also notice I have a wardrobe change. I have been doing some fuel line work on my winter beater, and I didn't really want to smell like gasoline while I enjoy my rabbit meal. Whoa. It's already dead and it's still trying to get away from me. There's a little bone. There's another little bone. Now, anything I don't eat, anything that does get left on the bone, I will feed my chickens. They seem to not care what type of food they get. They eat about anything I give them. They also eat rocks, and those just help to bust up any other food. So I'm not too worried about these little bones. They'll manage. Now, if it weren't for me kind of being on a time crunch, I probably would have added more liquid, maybe some broth, just kept going on this boil. This is definitely tenderer, more tender than the last time I made this type of a meal. It's still got a little bit of chewiness. But it so tastes good. Yep, I definitely like to keep cooking it down. And I do like to do a saltwater brine. In the fridge for a few days. That definitely makes it tender too. But it takes up a lot of room. So I can process it, do some cooking, not make that big of a mess. And that's all right too. Still found a little bit of hair. Oh, I love rabbit season. Forgive me while I eat in front of you. This is just so tasty. It's kind of hard to do all this work and not eat. now, I guess I got the majority of the meat pulled. It's time for that onion reduction. And that is all that is left from all that liquid. Just cooking down, cooking down. That's definitely quite oily. Now I only added a little bit of oil to the pan to get the onions going. And that's all just that little bit of fat on that rabbit, just cooking down, breaking down. Now I realize this is not a very appealing dish, and there could be things that I could do to spruce that up a little bit. Maybe I could make a sandwich out of it, serve it on some toast, or maybe just serve it with the stock as more like a dressing on top. But check that out. That is one healthy, hearty, oh man. Cheers. That's a healthy meal right there. Tasty. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it. Still some bones. I'm going to be hard pressed to not finish that bowl right. Meow. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.